Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Joy of Sticks. Stickhead here with your Atari STE gaming channel. Now, I bring you today the third Atari STE Star Wars game. It is of course Return of the Jedi. Check the music. One of the best things about this game is this music. In the comments for the previous two videos, the music got a bit of a slating in Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back on the ST. Normally, David Whittaker does an absolute bang tidy job of whatever he's doing on the ST, but yeah, not great in those games. But here, Dave Kelly has been at work converting what's it called? The Imperial March to some kind of funky disco track for this game, and I just love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I mean, you can see already how radically different it is from the previous two games. Well, I imagine that's because, you know, this came in 1987. So, yeah, you know, vector graphics were starting to get a bit old, so they couldn't really make a third arcade game with the vector graphics technology. I mean, they could have done. In fact, this film would probably make a better vector graphics game than Empire Strikes Back, to be honest. A lot of what makes the Empire Strikes Back movie great isn't represented in the video game, the arcade game. Whereas, you know, Return of the Jedi has lots of the vehicular stuff that would work really well. You know, a speeder bike version in 3D would be really nice. You know, there's another, like, it's not really the Death Star's trench, is it? But like flying into the Death Star and avoiding things. And of course you got Chewie in his walker and all sorts of stuff you could have done with the vector graphics, but there you go, things were moving on, and you know, in a young industry that's moving so quick, the last thing you want to be is an anachronism. So here we go, we have sprites for Return of the Jedi. So who converted this? Of course it wasn't Vector Graphics, again the same company. This time it was Consultant Computer Systems? Something like that. I can't really remember. Anyway, they've converted other Atari arcades. Vindicators? That's one of the ones they did. The top-down isometric tank shooter game. And that was alright. It was okay. But yeah, should we crack on? Let's have a go. And we're in. Does it say on here? Yeah, Consult. There we are. Consult Computer Systems. Alright, we'll go with easy to start with. You can see that even though the style of the game is radically different thanks to the sprites and the isometric viewpoint, structurally it's still a very similar kind of game. You go through a certain amount of waves, each showing a different set piece from the movie, until you destroy the Death Star, and then you repeat, but things are a little bit harder next time. So yeah, here of course we've got the classic scene from the Forest Moon of Endor, the speeder bike section. Oh dearie dear. And as I was really poorly showing off there, the Ewoks try and help you out. I mean, they didn't help me out very much there, did they? Thanks guys. But yeah, you can go through those little bonus points, and any stormtroopers, or scout troopers I should say, following behind will get blown up by their tripwire. I missed that guy, I've got to watch out here, he might blow me up. But yeah, there's one really nice thing about this is how solid it feels. You can shoot them with your lasers, but you can also ram them off onto the sides, into the bushes there, or into the trees and things like that. And a nice little celebration scene here with the droids and Ewoks. Okay, so here we are playing as Lando Calrissian, flying the Millennium Falcon into the second Death Star to try and get to the reactor core and blow it up. Watch out for him. Is he gone? Has he disappeared? Reactor destroyed. Let's fall back a bit so we can see what's coming. There's a slightly more foreboding version of the Imperial March there. These guys going flying straight to their doom. They weren't the brightest, were they, Imperial TIE fighter pilots? There you go, son. Straight into the explosion. Alright, nice and easy. There you go. There's a bit more to the game than that. Obviously the difficulty ups, but there are also other things you can do on harder levels, so hopefully we'll see those in level 2. Alright, so back on the speeder bike again. I'm assuming we're Luke Skywalker, though why we're wearing a bright blue jumpsuit I have no idea. That's it, son, get into that tree. You get into the bushes. Did I get them? No, I didn't. Keep ducking and juking and weaving and dodging. I don't. There you go. Into. Oh! I was trying to ram him into the tree and rammed myself into a tree. Like a fool. Alright, let's concentrate on staying alive so we can actually see some more of the game. Mind you, I've got 4 lives, plenty of life. Oh, I missed another one. There he goes. Yeah, let's see if we can get him. Hey, nice one, Ewok buddies. You little furry gits. Oh! I got greedy there, going for the bonus points. Is that it? No? Got some more. This is just really satisfying, just barging them in to trees and stuff. Did the other one die? Oh, come on. Dodgy collision detection there. Yeah, when you get big clusters of trees like that, it's best just to stick to the edge, to be honest. Because that happens when you try and fit in the gaps. Yeah, I'm just going to stay over here. He's going to commit suicide trying to reach me. Yeah, AI in this game, not so good. This music being in the film, but it is good. Here we go, a new section. Now I'm playing as Chewie in the ATST. Obviously this, whoa, this is all part of the assault on the shield generator, and this is a nice thing actually, and you see more of it on the tougher later levels. It's really quick cuts between the different types of level, different heroes, each doing their bit. It gives you an impression that it's all going on at the same time, which of course it was in the movie. Sentient log following me, what's that all about? Yeah, it's not too exciting, that bit. Quite easy just to avoid stationary logs. What's that? Oh dear, lost all my X-Wings, not good. Of course, one of the negative things about it cutting away from the different sections so quickly is that it's hard to get into it. It would be nice to see a bit more of that level with the Millennium Falcon and the Star Destroyer, but still, nothing grumble. Yeah, we need some enemies to shoot or something, because this is a bit dull here. Whoa. That's exactly what we were looking for. Only managed to take one of the ATSTs out, but never mind. Alright, here we go. See there. Oh my word, what hit me there? They're leaving little mines behind, those Imperial shuttles. There we go, there's Han. Over casually. Chucks that grenade in there without even looking. So smooth. Get out of it. Now, the way it increases the difficulty here is that the barriers are a bit harder to avoid, as I demonstrated right there. Oh, I can put my name in. Yeah! We're in. I don't think there's any more of the game to see. I think that's it. The speeder bike scene, the Millennium Falcon approaching the Death Star, avoiding the Star Destroyers and stuff, inside the Death Star to blow it up, and the other thing, what was the other thing? Of course, Chewie in the ATST. So yeah, that's it. And you can see, it's very similar in structure to the previous Star Wars games. Obviously looks and sounds very different.
You must face Darth Vader again.
Leave them to me. I will deal with them myself.
and it's got those sampled speech bits in again, which is really cool. Anyway, there we go. That's Return of the Jedi. Let's have a look at some reviews, shall we? Now, what have we got? Okay, so the one, they gave it 66%, and they said it was a really good conversion, but it's just a pity that the arcade original wasn't particularly good in the first place. It's a bit harsh. I mean, it's a decent game. They think there's loads of scope in Return of the Jedi to make a much better game. They think it should have been a Sega-style racer, which I guess, what was out around that time? They're thinking like Super Hang-On and Outrun and that kind of thing, aren't they? I'm guessing for the speeder bike scene. And they suggested it should be a barbarian-style beat-em-up for the lightsaber duel between Luke and Vader. And they were suggesting well, a shooting, so I can't remember what they said, but I think that's really harsh, because if you try and do lots and lots of different things, especially in these early days, you found that they never particularly did them very well. It's always better to be a one-trick pony and do it really well, I think, in these earlier games. But there you go, that's my opinion. Still, they didn't hate it, 66%, not terrible. They thought it was competent. ST Amiga Format gave it 72%. They said it's one of the fastest scrolling shoot-em-ups around. And to be fair, I mean, it's not something I commented on while playing it, because I didn't really notice it, you know. It's not updating at 1 VBL or anything like that. It's not like 50 frames per second, but, you know, it's serviceable, and you know, the whole screen is scrolling isometrically, so, yeah, I think they did a good job there. I agree. Did I say the percentage? Yeah, 72%. And they praised the unusual view of the gameplay, which is interesting, seeing as isometric stuff was all the rage at one point, but then obviously died out for a bit. There's no graphical imagination. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, but they did mention, I'm not sure if that's Leia or Luke, they suggest it's Leia. Looks like a blob of blue fluff. And I see that they could have done a bit better. I suppose they're trying to limit the amount of colours used, but still, you had plenty more grey and stuff to add some more detail to that sprite. So yeah, decent review there. Ace gave it 854 out of 1,000, and they obviously really liked it, because in real money that translates to 8.5 out of 10, or a 9 out of 10 if you're into integers. And they called it a marvellous combination of slick graphics, digitised film, speech, blasting action and frantic flying. And it says best of the 3 Star Wars films because it lends itself more easily to the computers. And that's a really good point. Vector technology was great, and the arcades of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back was really impressive to behold. But that doesn't necessarily translate brilliantly to the home computers. Now, a lot of the home computers did get good conversions thanks to the efforts of vector graphics, but I can see what it's saying. It doesn't translate as easily as sprites do. I mean, this kind of sprite game is the 16-bit bread and butter after all. So yeah, there you go. There's Return of the Jedi, guys. I hope you enjoyed our little trip through Star Wars games on the Atari ST. Now, I could go back to doing platform games again, but I fancy doing something a bit different. So if you've got any requests, let me know, and I might follow you up on those. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. Your likes and your comments, your subscribes, all of those, always really appreciated. Do take care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye.